welcome to the Art in Our Mind talk with Sophie Pizzas. Very happy to be here today with Sophie and Nono Motloki, who is our Art in Our Mind research team member. And Nono, say hi, Nono.
Hello.
And a big thank you to Nono, who has done a lot of work towards today's interview with Sophie, and the there's a lot of research that actually goes into one of these talks, and so big thank you to Nono for that. It's wonderful to finally be able to do this Art in Our Mind talk with Sophie. We were supposed to do this dialogue last year, but there was this little issue of a global pandemic that happened, and so we're really happy to have this occasion to finally have this talk with Sophie, which is also being held on the occasion of the APEMS 2021 conference, which is being held at the University of Cape Town. To give a brief history of the Art in Our Mind talks, it is a research project that is run by myself, Charlene Khan. I'm a visual artist and scholar. And so today, Sophie Pizzas, we are here in Cape Town with Sophie Pizzas, who has opened up her studio to us. Sophie currently resides in Manenberg, and she's working out a studio here in Kensington. And so I'm going to start you off with some of the basic questions that we ask in Art on Our Mind. Where were you born?
I've been born in Joburg, a place, the community was called Kliptown. And now the name has changed to El Dorado Park. So I've been living there until the age of 13. From there I moved with the gospel in other places. And when I grew up as far as 16, and I started moving up to Cape Town. But I was drawing when I was a child, doing drawings of buildings and people. And my sister, it was the best pencil work that I've ever done. And I thought I was tip-top, but it wasn't tip-top, but it was good in my eyes. It was a perfect drawing, but someone else stole it, and I never seen it since that time. And I came up to Cape Town, and I felt that I wanted to know where's the art schools in Cape Town, because they said it's flooded with artists. I made my way to Woodstock, and they told me there's an old church. They call it Community Arts Project. And I went there, and people were standing in the line, young people, and they didn't want artists that's coming to learn from the ground. They needed artists that got the art in their hands. So I was in, because I knew I got it. And when they gave me the paper and they locked me up in a room and with charcoal, and I said, I can't draw with the charcoal. I use a pencil. I said, no, this is not going to work for us. Here's a charcoal, here's a paper, and here's a sculpture. Draw the sculpture, and they locked the door and they went out. Because why they so aggressive with what they said? Because the line was too long. So I went in the room. I didn't know about warm up. I was a bit shaky because I didn't know, well, I'm going to get this thing right. But suddenly, in my inner human person, something warmed up. I don't know what, but I caught the black and the whites all together. And when I was finished, I knocked by the door and they opened up, they looked, they said, I think you made it. And they said I must follow. Then we get to the office. Amazing, they gave me forms. And I knew that I was in. For 3 years, and I signed the forms, and they said, we want to see you Monday, and I was there.
So what year were you born? Am I allowed to ask?
Yeah.
1968.
Yeah. But
And yeah.
what happened there, school papers.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, were lost. Nobody knew where it was. To go to school, they have to like plea and pay the principal to get. In the time of apartheid, it was very bad. And so they got me in. But my niece and me were the same age. So I have to locate and find out, is this the right age that I am, because all papers are gone. And my mother's, and they were always like drinking. And so what happened, I didn't even change the ID, I didn't worry about it. So that's why I'm sitting with two ages.
What's the two ages?
All right, 1960 was on the ID.
Okay.
Right, and the other one now is 1968. Right, 1968 is the right one. You see?
Okay.
Yeah, so.
What school did you go to when you
Cliptown High, there was no art. Nothing.
Nothing.
Uh-uh.
So what kind
Not in
of,
Joburg.
when you were little, what kind of creativity or art did you come to? How did you find your creative spirit when you were small?
At school.
Yeah?
Because I studied science from childhood, drawing the teeth of cats and nails and everything that was in there, like houses, whatever. But that was like, it was so good for my eye. Even cabbages, spinach, you have to draw it. And I draw it so fine and so good until I feel just like this is standing out, right? Now to fill it in with color, I always use like watercolor. And I just make it, it's like you can smell it. That's how I worked. But I was never in an art school. That was another thing. So I can say I was born with it. But it needed technically to come stronger. That's why when I grew up, I had to go to art school. Wood carving, I wasn't taught because I started with a razor blade on a tomato box. I wrote words. You can't rub love in, you can't rub love off, you can't borrow love, you can't sell love, you can't buy love. I just wrote it and I cut it out with the razor blade. And I took the tomato box, I colored in with crayon pencil and make a rose and nice leaves, whatever. And I sold it for 10 rand. And that 10 rand bought meat for my mother, and then the other 10 rand, potatoes and tomatoes. I supported my mother when I was the age of 13, 10, around there.
You know, in a lot of your works, you reference your mother. Whether it is in this work here where it is, we see your mother on the bed, a hospital bed, deals with the death of your mother and the circumstances around that. Can you tell us a bit about your mom and what are the circumstances that led to you referencing? And because it's quite a life event that impacted you.
Okay, you see, Cliptown was a place of jolly. Indians lived there, Chinas, colored, Xhosa, Venda, all nations used to live in Cliptown. I still think there's a variety of people living there. But if a woman wants something, she made a way to take it. And she couldn't get my father because my father is an Indian and, they got that smart, soft hair and he's strong and he works. And that happened. From my mother, they drank together in the shebeen where Linda was staying. So Linda used to sell Maiza. It's homemade beer. So what she said that day, it's like this baby Klimpton, the small one. They used to sell that for 5 cents. Right? It's way big. 5 cents. And she said, but I'm giving you this is yours. But don't don't go to the tent and take for yourself. But I felt something in me, there was something wrong.
And then there was your mom's friend?
My mom's best friend. I tried to listen what's inside, but it kicked me because I can't say what it really is, but it was danger.
And how old were you?
I was like 6 years old.
6 years.
Yeah. And what happened there, my mom's friend went away. So she went on fetch some money, or is it old age pension? I don't know. But my mom drank that beer. And when she was finished, remember it's this time of the day. Until nighttime, like 8, 7, and she started coughing. So what happened, what was in that beer, it was like, they call it apricot acid. You understand? Mm-hmm. So that was so strong, it burned the inside, because the doctor said it was kaffir poison. But it was like apricot acid. How she managed to do what, I don't know. But now she was after my father. So when my mother suffered, my father stick by the shabib. Right after that, she went to the hospital. Because she coughed and coughed and coughed, and we didn't know what was happening because she couldn't talk anymore. At the hospital, she lay there the first night, the second night, and when I went to go and visit her all the time, the results, when I became of the age of 12, nearly by 12, 13, the age of 12, I came by the hospital and she said, I must tell her best friend, goodbye. So now I knew something had happened between her and my mother. And the second day, when I went there, I tried to look for my mother in the hospital bed. She wasn't there. And that kicked me. It kicked me on that same moment. And I rushed in, tried to talk to the nurses. They said, no, go to talk to the doctor. When they sent me to the doctor, I knew she was dead.
And what was life like after that?
What I got, the ideas that I was born with, the art, I have to survive through that. I have to sell oranges, to buy myself a school shirt, books, shoes. Weekend, I used to make a lot of money and to buy myself the best that I could. And that is the way I survived. But my father couldn't give me money for a shirt or a shoe or socks. He was always busy, or he wasn't at home and he was just gone. He come back at night and he's drunk. There's always broken promises. Now will and I will, tomorrow, and I don't worry, next week I haven't got money. You understand? So I didn't want to go to school with torn shoes, open shoes. Because the first shoes I have to tie it down with wire. And it's winter, it's June month, and it's ice cold between the grass to get to Shawela by the school. And when I get to school, the hands are so dry of the cold and so hard. You late, and now you have to do like this. They must hit you with a ruler because you're late. That's like, you feel like dying because the pain is already there of the cold and you bashing me. When I felt you can kill someone because the pain is too heavy. But it's deeper than that. So yeah, and I studied on my own way. My sister wasn't supportive, nobody, I had to push myself.
Sounds like a very difficult and painful way to grow up, Sophie. This is one of those works. I mean, what is this work called?
This is a past in the past, the future from the past, something like that. You just see.
times
Times
from
the
my past.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah. Everything that's what I told you,
in here.
it's yeah, but this is in detail. You know, when I was a child, I used to fight,
Yes.
come back to my old lady and tell her, it's like I just pay someone else, but I'm feeling bad, I'm feeling hurt. And she said, it's okay, but you got to go back and I'm going to fight for you. I'm not going to fight someone else for your part.
So
This is your street life.
this is Lino. This is Lino work.
This is Lino.
Because a lot of people are under the impression that you were not formally trained. But as you mentioned, you went to CAP to
Yeah,
community.
I went to CAP. There is where I started with Lino. Because I
Okay.
didn't know how to work with Lino.
And then you later went on to teach at CAP
Yes, I
as
did.
well. What was that experience like?
The experience, just like it was very good. Because after the 3 years, 85, 86, 87.
Yes.
After 87, they gave us training to go out to go and teach, like Langa, Guguletu, and all this kind of centers. But at the art school, Saturdays, we used to teach children that come from Guguletu and Langa and other places. I was fast. I was like getting all images and come from home, like the next day. What I seen in a taxi, I put it down. There's no time for color now, I'm cutting. Because the reason why I was alone, I got no family in Cape Town, I need to support myself, I need money to eat, to drink, to get taxis somewhere. Without money, I can't do, I have to sell.
Yes.
And that selling became. And there's a lot of money that came in. And afterwards, it was overseas that came in. Other people from overseas, and they saw our work, and they made exhibitions in Mississippi. And that was the first exhibition.
And this was during apartheid. So how was it creating under that constant anxiety of, the violence, and you mentioned once that they actually did raid CAP, and I'm wondering what that experience was like. And I think also I remember you mentioning that because of, the typical reasons, there were certain things that you couldn't say or couldn't create during that time, and you felt a lot more liberated once apartheid ended, and you felt like now you're a lot more vocal and expressive about some things. So I'm just wondering a bit about.
See, there's other thing that happened in apartheid. It was so painful, and I didn't want to be involved in violence. And the paintings that we did for ANC, police were chasing us from left and right. I didn't want to go to jail, and I just kept I worked, I did the flags, but anything when I hear the police around, and I get myself out of it. Whatever happens in that time, painful, I put it online or I don't talk a lot. That saved me in that time.
And you can really see it in the work. It has a lot of pain, but you speak that you've healed a lot and you've moved on. And that music was also a big part of the healing from all of these past traumas.
Yeah, in music, I write what I see. Where I meet some friends and I hear maybe a pain or maybe happiness or something, I will sing about it. But the main thing is for me to heal people out of the pain and to bring them back where they're supposed to be. And they must be general, they must be the self, and they must be human. And they must be happy. And that's why I work against the pain and bring all that out. And when it moves out, then you're free. I got styles and ideas how to work it out. I can sit and talk to you. I can listen to your story. I can start drawing from your story and put it in liner and let it go.
When you tell these stories, through music. What do you believe the power of that music is?
It brings so much joy and pain because it takes out the pain from inside. Because it's so much woman that sits with the same thing that you actually don't know. My song is on radio now. It's voted. It's on 4. Alright, it's on 4. But what happens? Friday night, they got a child. They found a child in a cooler bag, a fetus that was just, the child is formed, but when the child came out, she didn't want her mother and them to know. And she took that fetus, put it in a cooler bag for the 2-3 days, inside there. And she started cleaning herself up. But that pain inside, I've lost a value. I'm messed up. You see? A future is really messed up because it will burn at the back of the brain. I've killed a human being. Because when the preaching comes through, a song comes through, it will always hit her. And it won't give her a freedom to be free. She have to just take it out.
So your music helps to take it out?
That's it. And it's a lot of people, when they hear my music, like yesterday, someone said, "My God, will you please tell me the story of the song? Why did you write the song?" It hit me. And I didn't answer her because I was just in few minutes to preach. And when I came back, I read the note, the voice note. I thought, okay, I must sit down properly and explain why is the song on air and why did I write it. It's running, it's not working. Sitting in the street the whole day and the sun is shining and they're talking nonsense the whole day until sunset. And they become gangsters and stuff like that, or hit on another girl, or you get guys with name t-shirts and name shoes, and it's just money that goes for name clothes. But he's poor like a mouse. He's sitting on the streets.
So your work speaks a lot about. So you're using the word yar, and things are a lot makar. And so, if you talk about that, like a society that's yar makar, a lot of your work is about that, right? In other ways, we can say that the work, from a very young age, your work shows violence against women, violence against children, but it is about a society that's yar and makar. How do you continue to represent all that violence, but also not be completely overwhelmed by that?
I don't know, inside is like a cooking pot. When a pot cooks and it boils and there's no where the steam can goes up, that lid will make a noise. Now this is how I feel when I talk about the pain of some women. Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm going to start with that video that I was talking about earlier, where I heard you sing. Because the first part when you were singing, they don't show you singing, so I wasn't sure if it was you. Then the second part, they do show you singing. I was like, she also sings.
I should have kept it on.
You had the same, same Duke on.
Okay, so
yes.
Okay, I see.
Yes, in that studio, it was.
Asai?
Yes, on a side.
Now
Yes. So this performance, where was this?
This was just Yemenenberg, not far. I asked some other band to help me. just to practice the song, and when the concert comes, then they can play it. So it was a tabernacle church, just remember. So on that night, it was a lot of women, a lot of men, but it was a lot of cry too, right? Because we expressed what I was writing. That was a time when the dream of writing the pain of people, like a journalist, you locating some stuff that hits you, and that is what I brought up. So war began, and we started there, and we wrote 8 songs out of that, and that was the outfit that we had.
Beautiful. Who's the other family?
She's married now. Her name is Candace Williamson. But now, her surname, I don't know what's her surname now.
Was it a duo? Were you guys in a duo? Like a band together?
Yeah, a duet.
Yes, a duet.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Incredible Love, that's my band name.
Oh, the shades. Okay.
Yeah, that's Incredible Love. So I'm trying to explain that God's love is so incredible. It buckles your mind, because when you want to get out of something, God, it creates you and it buckles your mind, because you don't know what God is going to do next. You see? And that is the reason I call it Incredible Love. To be a woman, you can be strong. You can be weak sometimes. You can be untalented, but you can use your brain. When you told me about feminism, it took me so deep when you explained me, because I couldn't understand what, and I said, Stephanie must Google. and she would Google it. I said, yes, like I've got everything of that.
Yes.
You know, the paintings, the music, and things that I'm going through with other people that I'm helping. And it's like it's too strong. That's why I put my title down, Forgive, Forget, and Move On.
You've spoken a lot about how women, you see them, with children, and the ways in which they are treated by men, and even from your earliest work, whether it's around your mother, or we see you around other women even at a young age in your community. There's a lot of emphasis on women and children and the struggles that they go through. Here we're looking at a very early work of yours from 1989, and we're seeing a dead woman and her child. And here again, we're seeing a very metaphoric work of a woman that's being bound and screaming out in pain. These struggles emanate in so many of your works. Can you tell us about the ways in which you tackle woman and child violence in your work?
Okay. The painting that you see, it's the part that I was talking about, how they poisoned my mother. So this is a part where the hospital gave her a time to come and visit us. Now at home we have to treat her with a mace, millimeter mace, and they throw it in a funnel of glass, and it goes straight to her stomach. And this hand, it talks about my mother's mother, my granny, and say, can you see now? I told you to stay away from all the Sabine places. Now they poisoned you. Now you see your friends are passing. They're not coming in anymore to come and greet or talk to you. Now you're suffering without a visit. You're suffering, and they're not asking you questions or bringing you apples or anything. They're not caring for you. So it's more bad than anything now. The rope, the reason why I did the rope, the poison inside was like binding the life out of a body. And that's why she was like screaming, in between scream and laugh. It's like she's winning because she forgives the lady, and she's screaming of the pain inside that she can't bear anymore. And I realized that when people are in pain, men used to abuse them. Men used to abuse them. And not going to work and giving them money. They lose their work because of alcohol. And when they're too much in alcohol, they can't focus in their work. They like shivering. So the lady that's in a painting, she was a genuine wife for her husband, and she bare a child for him, and the other one was like 12 years old. But when he started drinking because he didn't have work, it was like frustrating. And he came one night at home and he asked his wife for food, and she said, "How can I give you food? There's no money, and there's nothing to even feed a child. You can't ask that because we're actually dying of hunger." And he didn't want to hear about that, and he started bashing her, grabbing on her hair and hitting her and going for the child in the baby cage in the court. And he wants to grab the child. And his wife grabbed the child, and he took him, and he took her and the child, and he fling them out of the door by hair. And he hit her so hard, and she landed out of the stoop, and the child fell out of her hand. And that's the reason the child is laying on the floor full of blood, and she couldn't focus because she was unconscious. The next day, she was dead. But on the doorknob, where you can see there's some blood, he cut his 12 years young boy's hand off because the child didn't want to leave the door. He wanted to talk to his father, but the father was so violent, he cut the hand off. But what left, it was the skin and the hand inside the door, and the son ran away and asked for help. It's where other people helped him. The next day when he woke up, there's a window where you can see a small face. And the small face were looking the next day, looking for his wife and wondering what was taking place. But the liquor that he was drinking made him mad, making some demonizing, and that's why he killed his wife, and he didn't know. The next day he was so sorry for what he'd done. But he couldn't get his son again because his son ran into the community and they saved him there. After 12 years, when he was in jail, and he came out and he was repented, and he said, "I will never ever use liquor anymore because liquor made me destroy my family."
But the print medium also allows you to make multiples, and you started extending that now into cushions as well.
Yeah.
But you've been a lot more entrepreneurial than that. And what we're seeing here now is some of the range of your entrepreneurial spirit, because you make purses, you make pouches or bags for Bible, for books. You make these wonderfully stylish armbands, which we are advertising here, and we see here to make us look extra gorgeous. But I want to also highlight some of the super practical ways in which you help us as women in our lives as well. And so I want you to sort of demonstrate for us the use of what seems to be these very decorative, cute little sticks. But I want you to to tell us what they're about, this set of sticks and this set of sticks, what they're called and what their functions are.
Okay. I will start with the spouting. When people looks at it, when I take this out, they will think it's for a phone. But it's not for a phone, it's for carry the sticks. And this, you carrying it, you put it over your neck, and you go to the shop and you don't need to look for it and because it's just here. And you take it out and you use it, put it over there. And because when the bag is too heavy, with like fish tins and meal or anything, it's heavy, it cuts your hand. But now it's easy done. And you can just carry it and you can walk with it out. So everything, when you finish at home, you take it out, you put it there and you hang it on the wall. And you know that you can go shopping when you take it from the wall. So this is how it is.
And we see that a lot in your conversations of, being saved, healing, and as much as the work does reflect a lot of communal trauma and personal trauma, it also speaks a lot about communal healing and spiritual healing and personal healing as well. And I was just wondering, with everything that's happened in your life and you speaking about how you've healed, what does that feel like? Do you finally feel free? Do you feel lighter?
Nice.
What does healing feel like?
It's exciting, really. I'm free, I'm feeling strong, I'm feeling young, not old. I'm feeling I can make another 50 years.
You're feeling hungry because this interview is
Yeah,
taking long.
yeah, I'm feeling hungry to work further. I feel hungry to design more. I feel to write more songs and get that music out. And whether you're crying and the taxi goes past and you hear that music, you will forget about crying. You will try to listen to that song. That is what it's in me. I'm like a tree that gives life to other people or other trees or something like that. But I'm a part of a tree that God created. I'm not a destroying tree. No, I give life and I make sure you live with peace. That is within me. I'm not an aggressive person. I love people because I'm a human, full person. Why must I reject and grudge you and hate you? And you're the same like me. So there's no other highway.
Well, we've come to almost to the end of our interview. I'm going to ask you one last set of questions now.
Quick fast.
You have to answer very, very quickly, and you're going to answer in one word. Not quick, not thinking too much. Only one word, Sophie. Yeah?
I get nothing to say.
Only one word, yeah. But I know you're thinking already. I know, no long stories, nothing, just one word, ne? Alright, so now we're going to ask you the Art on Our Mind questionnaire. Okay, you ready? Gereed? Alright. What makes you happy instantly?
When I see people,
Yep, that's it. What makes you unhappy instantly?
when people are broken,
Okay. What's your least favorite color?
purple,
Do you have a favorite book or writer?
mafia in an aeroplane,
Okay. Who is your favorite artist?
Willie Bester,
Who is your favorite heroine? Woman hero.
it was my mother.
Quite. If you could wish any artwork that you could have from any time period and you could have it in your house,
Cecil Scottons,
which artist, artwork, or art movement do you dislike the most?
dislike.
Yeah, dislike.
I don't think so.
Okay. What kind of songs get you going?
Jazz,
What is your favorite word?
love,
What is your least favorite word?
love,
No, least favorite. The one that you dislike the most.
hate,
What turns you on?
joy,
What turns you off?
loveless,
Okay. What makes you laugh?
love. That makes me laugh is love, the joy that's in people.
Okay. What's your best virtue?
That's it.
Your best quality? What's your best quality?
Clothing,
It's your best quality.
Hmm?
Oh, clothing, okay. What's your idea of misery?
misery.
What can make you miserable?
When people doesn't give love to other people.
Okay. What sound or noise do you love the most?
Guns.
You love that. What?
No, what?
That you love. What sound or noise do you love?
Oh, okay. Sorry. Ooh, oops.
Got it on camera?
No. You cut that.
We'll cut that out.
No, that is steak. What sound or noise do you love?
Music. Sorry.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Guns.
Guns.
Violence, yeah.
What is your favorite swear word?
No, I don't swear. Since I was a child till now.
Not even gosh.
Not
Not even gosh.
I don't think gosh it's a swear word.
I think so. Maybe in some places.
Yeah. I don't know. Gosh, nice fine.
Damn.
No,
No, too harsh, too harsh.
No.
What profession, what job other than your own would you have liked to have tried?
To work in an office, with computers and stuff.
Okay, you're a computer tech person. Okay.
Yeah.
What profession or what job would you least have liked to have done?
I like wood carving to create some stuff out of wood.
No,
That
that
is
you would
fun.
have not liked to have done.
Oh,
Which
okay.
would have been a torture to you.
To sit in our streets, yeah, the whole day, yeah, and gossip.
Okay.
I would never like to do that. It's another job.
How would you like to die?
Peacefully and loving, yeah.
When you die and you go to heaven, what would you like to hear God say when you enter those pearly gates?
Enter, my good servant and warrior. That's all. That-
Wow. Sophie, on behalf of the
It's
Art
not
on Our
even
Mind,
all of that.
50 Rand for all of that. This was a cheap session.
She's charging us for everything.
For the
From
tea,
using the bathroom,
the bathroom,
words
50
for
rand.
interview.
Just want the audience
You
to
see, I'm not
know.
asking questions, it's just talking while we
Yeah, we just want everyone to know how Sophie has been charging us. Sophie, on behalf of the Art on Our Mind research team, we want to extend our huge thanks for giving us your time so generously and for just delighting us, and thank you for being a wonderful tree of life for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlene. Friend forever.
Yes.
Wow.
I think you might want to give Nona a hug. She needs
No,
a hug too.
New friends need hugs too.
Oh,
Thank you,
nice.
Sophie.
You're my loving sister.
Thank you, Sophie.
And as always, we want to also extend our thanks to Mia Lowe for her great videography, and to Fuad Asfor as well for the research, for the scanning, for all kinds of invisible labor that he does for the Art on Our Mind research team and the website as well. And thanks to all of you for watching this and for being with us on these journeys. Thank you.